I am Community Controller, also known as Jake. I am 21 years old and I am from New Jersey. A community controller is something I aim to bring the Twitch Plays channel back to the mainstream, like Twitch Plays Pokemon did 4 years ago with Pokemon. I wanted to put a little bit of innovation on it and bring it back to consoles. Yes, sir. I know there are open source forms of it for emulators around, but nobody's ever worked on it and openly with hardware, which I aim to try to do with the Nintendo Switch since it's so popular after its release last year. I thought it would be a perfect, say, starting point, bring back the Twitch Plays genre to the mainstream. I honestly think it comes back to that gaming forum I browsed back in high school, Seven Sins. I still browse it. The owner of that site I used to talk to almost every single day. He's in his, I believe, early 30s now and just had a kid. He does full-time gaming. He runs multiple businesses. He's a chiropractor. He owns his own practice. I really think he's the initial person that led me into this path and showed me that I could do more than just say, like, become a lawyer, become a doctor, any normal typical job that you expect some kid to be when they grow up. He knew a little bit about everything. He was able to do a little bit of everything in life. Only at the time he was only like 28, and he was able to, if you needed help with anything, he'd push you in the right direction. He's like a second father almost. So I became a moderator there, and from there I started up a Minecraft server dedicated for that website with the Splatoon game type. That was a recreation of the Splatoon game for the Nintendo console, which ended up getting more traffic than I ever expected it to. Then I think I then applied. He gave me the idea to apply for some Minecraft jobs, and I found Apex Minecraft posting. Not anymore, not as of last year. Just when we started looking at moving the house and the cost of community college in Jersey, it wasn't that, to me, it didn't make much sense to keep going there. I'm debating on looking a full-time student in Full Sail when I go down to Florida, but that's still up in the air. Several pieces of different hardware that do not quite like being together. You had to kind of hack them all together and hold them together with tape and pray they don't short out and catch fire. Mostly the hardware I created over the 6-month period and the software. They're kind of hacked together. They work, but the code's pretty much embarrassing in the background. You don't want to see the code. There's a few things, but nothing's perfect, but it works. That's all that matters in the end. The base of it I coded, then the rest of it I hired somebody to help me with, since I barely know enough Python to code my way out of a paper bag, but I knew just enough to get the base test done to show it's possible. And for the more intricate stuff, such as an anarchy and democracy mode and voting, I needed to pull somebody's help in for that. Since somebody in the past already reverse engineered the majority of the stuff I needed, that was just a matter of flashing into whatever hardware I needed and getting the software side completed. Python is the main one. Then the custom hardware uses C, which I didn't have to touch. I did not want to touch C, and anybody I knew did not want to touch C. So thank God we didn't have to touch C. I'm using Python to read the scripts, because then I'm using Slavs, which is Streamlabs version of OPS, to handle all the streaming directly to Twitch, since they have a bunch of cool modules built in, like an alert that'll pop up on screen when somebody follows you. It's a few different moving pieces that I'd rather not go into, but let's just say it's 3 computers and the Nintendo Switch and a bunch of wires. I'm always looking to improve it. That's actually why I open sourced it about 2 weeks ago now. Since not many people have noticed that I've open sourced it due to being closed for so long, the response has been a little bit minimal. But the dedicated fans of the community so far, especially my Discord, have already found several different bugs that I probably could have squashed months ago if I had the code open. It wasn't nerve-wracking until they pointed out the bugs that I had, because all the bugs are just stupid nonsense that I probably could have caught if I took an extra second reading it. It was the majority of the bugs were just extra commands that would then conflict with each other. Like I would have the move up command coded twice, but in one it would use the left thumbstick and the other one would use the up on the D-pad. Well, the string's been through multiple different versions of the code, so most of it I think is from my horrible version handling. Because the way I handle version handling is 9, 10, 11 different folders says final version V1, final version V2. This better be the final version of the code. Well, since I open source this, that helps a lot because GitHub has the version handling built into it. The stream is 24/7 actually. I believe OBS had me clocked in at 300 hours before I had to restart it this morning. And that was just since before the last restart, so I had to restart it at 300 hours. Because it runs 24/7, we're easily over 1,500 hours. This is the 5th one. We started with Kirby Star Allies when that was released. That took about a month to complete. Then we went to Super Mario Odyssey, which took a month and a half to complete. They got all the way to the dark side. Then we decided to pull the stream down and go to the next game, which was Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which unfortunately trolls won about 3 weeks in by deleting all of our saved progress. So because of that, we went over to Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, which nobody was a fan of apparently, because nobody was playing the stream at all. Opposed from the last 80 that are playing Zelda and Mario. We're not really stuck on Fortnite. We're having fun on Fortnite because we actually won a game earlier on 50v50. Solo, the highest I saw them get so far was 8th place. I actually started accepting friend requests last night. So the 20-some people I accepted are free to join the squads whenever they want. And within the near future, I'm looking into a system to allow subscribers to be able to join and help out Twitch towards winning. It was just if you wanted to come play. I had to fix a bug on the stream last night where they somehow managed to figure out how to change games. And then when I started the game back up, I just accepted whoever set one in. I told them they wanted to join, said something in the next 30 seconds. Every time we drop, they're actually debating on where they want to drop and trying to plan it out. They're having a good time. We're all having a good time. Kotaku happened about 2 months ago now when we were playing through Super Mario Odyssey. It brought a lot of trolls to the channel. We were working our way through the Sand Kingdom at the time, which for those of you who haven't played Super Mario Odyssey, it's the second world in Mario Odyssey. And that world is full of pits. So when there's maybe 10 people playing the game at once, you can navigate around pits and jumps and whatever you got to do to get through the worlds. But thanks to the Kotaku article, there's, I believe it topped out 650 people playing. So we meet best friends with a few of the pits in that world. So Fortnite just came out for Nintendo Switch. What day is today? Saturday? I believe 3 days ago now, maybe 4. The game is still in, I'll say, an early beta. It's not. It has a few bugs, but what game doesn't? Apparently, if the game though is running for more than 8 or 9 hours, it likes to randomly crash. And when it crashes, it goes to the home menu. And when it goes to the home menu Nintendo Switch, the stream has full access up to the controller. So they're going through the Nintendo Switch and just changing games at will. So eventually, they progress from Fortnite to starting a new game in Super Mario Odyssey and playing through World 1. I'm just amazed that they managed to create a new gaming profile on it too. They get a little avatar and everything. I believe the clip just from livestream fail on Reddit. I believe it got 60,000 views just in 8 hours. Yes, it's been fluctuating a little bit around 90, but it's still way up there from the last game we played, which people didn't really connect with too well, which was Donkey Kong. I actually broke 300,000 views this morning. I'm sitting at 301,000 right now. Then around the same time I broke 300,000, 8,500 followers. Well, with the rate Fortnite's going at right now, if it was gonna pull Donkey Kong, I feel like it would have done it already. So I feel like I'll be fine again like another 2 weeks or so. I just gotta wait for its average to get bumped up again. Well, the stream really doesn't have a business model. It wasn't really built in the mind of, hey, let's make money like a few other streamers would do. I just thought it'd be a fun concept to do, build a community around, to have somebody to go to, say after a long day of class, work, or whatever, and have somewhere to hang out and play something different, or at least one of their favorite games in a different way. But it's something that supplement the stream, I do work a full-time job. Well, the audience controls the whole stream in general because the stream wouldn't be here without the audience because I'm giving absolutely no input unless I'm changing like something overlay or something background. The game won't progress without the audience or anything, so I'm pretty much just going with the flow. If they see a part of the game is difficult or impossible with the amount of commands they have or any commands they have, I can go in. I can adjust some of the commands, maybe add a specific command for them. Like in Breath of the Wild, when they're trying to take the Master Sword out, they couldn't quite pull the Master Sword out even with the correct in-game requirements because of the command limit, so I had to add a specific pull-out command. But as for resets, those are really only coming at the request of the community, and if there's a large request by them. And even with a large request, I still go through a poll to be safe. So there's several avenues in case they all backpedal and say, oh no, we didn't want this, we didn't want this. So yeah, the community chose. Well, it's kind of a difficult situation in Fortnite because that doesn't really have an end to the game like I was doing previous games. Previous games, if there was a new game coming up, I thought I was going to do even better. Kind of like with Donkey Kong, which I thought was going to be a hit of the game. We didn't change Donkey Kong when it was released. We usually wait until the previous game is complete, or at least you see the credits before we do anything with it. Fortnite, that's going to have a community decision when and if we end up changing that, since it doesn't technically have an end. The audience has the final say in anything. Like even when we chose Donkey Kong, we didn't choose Donkey Kong because I specifically wanted to play Donkey Kong, even though I thought it was a good game. I ran a poll with 4 different games, and that's what's going to win. So probably when the next game's released, I'll probably have a poll with the new game and still Fortnite on there. And if Fortnite loses out, then I'll end up changing it out. But I'm not going to change it out unless the majority says they're fine with changing and they want to switch it up a little bit. In the Moon Kingdom, which is the technical final world of the game for post-game, there's usually a whole lava level you have to go to before you get to the wedding chapel. But speedrunners, they usually walk around to the other side of the entrance to that level, and they do a few difficult jumps and skip the whole level and go right to the wedding chapel. So somehow Twitch managed to not only agree on just sticking to that strat and doing it until they do it, they managed to do one of the most difficult jumps in the game that even a lot of speedrunners can't do still, or at least consistently. They were using I had select enabled in the game still, which brings up the minimap. So they were using that to treat like a task, tool sets a speedrun almost. So enter a command, pause the game, unpause the game, enter a command, and pause the game. They're repeating that all the way up the climb, so they could see where they had to adjust, where they were. Which I gotta give it to them because that's also before Twitch added the low latency beta. So they're dealing with 10 seconds of latency, which that's not an insignificant number. Right after Mario, about a week into Zelda, they rolled out low latency mode to all streamers, which brought latency all the way down from 10 seconds down to about 3. That's a huge improvement. That was actually the only reason I think we're able to pull another strat in Zelda and skip a whole motion control shrine, since my hardware does not allow them to use motion control at all. Yes, only because since Nintendo likes to add motion controls to the mix randomly. So if you don't really play through the game beforehand or do your research, you might end up just getting soft locked out of the whole game because Nintendo like to add a motion control segment that can only be completed with motion controls. We're trying to avoid those for the most part. Like for the only time that really came into play right so far was when we were doing Breath of the Wild. But even that was an optional shrine that they did not have to do. They just chose to try to skip their way around it. They were able to bomb their way across a huge gap and fly over a fence. The big thing that helped to do it, which is a lot of people see as bad quality, but I think it's just being lazy. It makes you want to find an easier way to do something, no matter the cost. Like I wanted to stream since I saw, say, like I told you, Twitch plays Pokemon when I was back in high school. I wanted to stream. I wanted to be a YouTuber or whatever since then, but I'm not. I just never had a chance to use a cam or just record my voice reliably. So it pretty much gave me like the motivation of trying to find a way around that, and which is where I found this technical streaming at CommunityController, where the audience makes their own entertainment. There was somebody who did Twitch Plays Dark Souls, but they only did one playthrough of that game, to my knowledge, and they really didn't play again. I believe it was a modified version of the PC game because he modified the game so it was more turn-based. Very weird, but they still completed it, and that, no matter what, I can't see Dark Souls being an easy game, even with turn-based. There's a few people who've popped up after I was featured on sites like Kotaku that have tried doing what I did, and a few of them are actually pretty close, but none of them had exactly what I did. Mostly how they were doing the hardware side of things. The way they were handling the hardware wasn't as reliable, so their systems would crash day after day after day, or it would just drop inputs. So like if you're playing Pokemon, you're trying to say walk through Viridian Forest, you could probably walk halfway up the path, and all of a sudden it'll start reading your inputs. My code, while shoddy, I have a failsafe built into it, so if anything does happen, it'll at least catch itself and go back into place. It's pretty much an alarm. I'm using a shell script on Linux, and it checks every X amount of time. It's convenient as long as everything ends up towards the end of the timer cycle. If something ends up at the beginning of the timer cycle, then people might be out, say, 6 minutes, because I don't have it checking constantly. Well, if people keep open source and all the work so people can learn from past instances, I think it's going to become the next vlog or go-to type of stream on Twitch, because you can do so much with it. Like, for example, if you used my software that I open sourced and you're playing, say, let's use Fortnite, for example, which we're playing through Fortnite right now. You can connect my software right to your PC or another PC in your room, and you can party up with your own viewers and have them play alongside you in a stream. I think it'll be able to bring a whole new interaction to different types of streamers and games, and instead of just being a one-way conversation. Just do research and look at the anything that's open source on GitHub. People doing similar things that you're looking to doing. If you don't worry about people trying to call you a copycat or anything, you only have to change a little bit to become an innovator or improve one negative thing that you're seeing on other streams for people to start enjoying you. Copycat or not, as long as you're having fun, you're starting to get community. Don't worry about anybody else. Just the different community reactions. Just see how they react to different things. I would say it's the rig in general, just because that took so long to create. I believe I said it took about 6 months to create. And for about 4 of those months, it was actually complete. But every time I got to the final step of, hey, look, we're finally done, I'll find one big mistake that I should have noticed months beforehand that caused the whole thing to have to go back to the drawing board. I would have to say back during Kirby, where I really wasn't watching the stream too much, and I was taking it a little bit too seriously. We were getting a little too rambunctious on banning people who weren't playing correctly, because I was so worried about upsetting people at the time. But because I was so worried about upsetting people, I was banning people who maybe weren't playing the best thing and just instantly labeled them as a troll. I got a little bit of tunnel vision, and I was actually upsetting the people I was trying not to upset. So we quickly learned that, but that had been the biggest failure for that so far. I ousted a lot of people during Kirby, trying to keep everybody happy, but that was a very slippery slope to sit on. It has to go back to the community. Everybody's enjoying different things, skill sets. Like even some of my communities contribute to some of the graphics I have on my stream, just because they wanted to spruce it up a little bit. Somebody made me a custom 8-bit logo, so it always comes back to the community. I think it's the relationships they're building in chat, than the openness of anybody can hop into Discord and start talking to me, or I'm not just some person they can't reach like some other larger streamers. So I think that's making a big difference, because anybody can tag me in Discord and they can get access to me. Even some of the streamers, even about my size, you might never even get a response. The lack of transparency from Twitch itself. Like, for example, I told you already I was denied, but they don't tell you why you're denied. So you kind of just got to assume, like me, I'm assuming it was because of the lack of the drop of viewership during DonkeyCon. Or if they would say, when you initially apply, and say it could take up to a week to hear back. But then a follow-up email saying received it says up to 3 weeks. But in reality, it could take 3, 4, 5 months to hear back from them. So that has to be one of the most annoying things ever. They're a big company, but they're run by Amazon. Amazon has great support. Just need a few more staff members. That's all you need, Twitch. The largest game I really play in my free time now is The Binding of Isaac, because no matter how often you play that game, which I have hundreds of hours in at this point, the game is always different due to it being an RNG-based game. So you might every single game you play of it's going to be completely different from the last. Oh, it has a keyboard. Nah, it's about OPSEAT. Keeps my hiding nice and comfy during these 3 a.m. updating sessions for the stream.